This is the Divinity in Chains and Her Freed Future, Part 2. How could this fully divine, purely divine being completely lose her free will, divine healing powers? Awesome creativity, collective enlightenment, and full awareness, and be shut down into self-possessed wage and property slaves, addicts, prisoners, and wardens of the human prison farm, and rerouted, tortured, and terrified through wars, satanic ritual abuse, and fake-ass pseudo-natural disasters and weather weapons, fires and programming, over 1 million years of violence, manipulation, brainwashing, mastery of mind control, and now technocracy. The fallen angels mastered their sick goals. That's right. The scuzz buckets who insist that I'm not going to be able to do this mastered fake attacks, fake governments, fake weather. They're masters. That's right. Okay? They mastered their goals. Okay? Fucking scuzz buckets insist that I keep this covered like this because this is the only protection I brought. And they insist that they have to attack me. They actually unplug these divine beings and make them into loose batteries because that's how pathetically stupid and morally retarded and technocratically powerful they are. They insist that I'm not going to make this video. It's very important to the fallen angels that I can't do this, right? It's important. Okay? Because everything that goes against, that they can do to destroy those who speak the truth right now is important. Even the little guys. In Castaneda's book, The Active Side of Infinity, he terrifies Carlos. I'm sure the plane saw me and came with more. I mean, they live in the fucking same neighborhood as me. Scuzzballs. But what Carlos Castaneda says in The Active Side of Infinity was and that was a book he wrote later on, a very elegant point, very important key. He says, the flyers gave us their minds. What is he referring to? Beelzebub. The same beings that insisted I have to make this a 2-part video, and the second part had to be with the weather attack. The controllers, the fake gods, they insist everyone has to be a loose snack because that's what they insist that this planet is going to be. Okay? Unless, again, the vast majority of humans say no more weather weapons, no more bullshit, no more psychological torture, satanic ritual abuse. We're sick of it. We're done. Okay? I mean the vast majority. So, what did he mean when he said they gave us their minds? And why did this terrify Carlos so much? Why was it such a horribly, horribly terrifying thing? Because he's referring to how the fallen angels got structurally, they built psychic things. A lot of psychic healers claim they can take Jehovah Death seals or J seals or chakras out of you, that they can clear these things out. But the structures inside of our minds are geared toward fear, survival, the little me, the 3D flesh suit, the whole fake hologram of the Matrix. Okay? The flyers gave us their minds. And so when we fight each other over stupid shit, you're being a loose snack. Okay? They come in your thoughts. And, whenever you're having a hard time, whenever you're having anxiety, depression, anger, you want to kill or harm yourself or someone else, well, they're going to turn up the volume on those thoughts, man. There's hundreds of other YouTube channels exposing this. I'm not alone in this, okay? The Flyers gave us their minds. This is Ahmed Jamal live in Paris, 1971. The Hollywood, mainstream media, and later social media tyrants perfected the concept, okay? We are Satan, okay? We are parasites. This is what they constantly tell us in the mainstream media. The 1% criminal robber barons who run the mainstream media are constantly telling us that we are vermin and parasites. We are a hive mind. That's what they're trying to build and strengthen right now, the hive mind. But as I've said before, groupthink is mind flunk. We are a hive mind swarm of lost souls fighting each other for scraps of food, fighting each other for scraps of fool's gold, funny money, or scraps of food from the table of our fake God masters. Getting down on our knees and praying to the false gods. Please have mercy on me. I'm a sinner. I'll make so many mistakes. I'll let you control me forever. The secret societies, just like you want. The secret societies, the fake drug aggrandizers, the television, the fake book, and instant scam, even the Trumple, have all been used to keep normal humans as cattle, goy, unwashed masses of slaves for their chosen Freemason and Illuminati masters. Of course, narcissistic psychopaths have always been promoted to the top of the pyramid schemes and all these different secret societies, at least if they love the fallen angels. And narcissistic psychos are stoked to rule in inversion, tyranny, and oppose freedom naturally. They're given promotions in the government, given promotions, and if they're in these clubs I mentioned, especially if they oppose freedom and love tyranny. Humans have been given fake multiple choice questions that have been successfully pretended to be reality. You want to know what free will is for most normies? If they're lucky, if they're a spoiled whitey or a black or Mexican or some other Chinese or some other race who works really hard to get to the top of the food chain, then they get the multiple choice question of things they can be, several things they could be, as long as it fits in with the matrix and doesn't question the system. The human cattle have been given this fake informed consent, as we saw 5 years ago, in a fake context with perhaps one of the few 100% truths Mr. T has voiced. The mainstream media news is fake news. Fake news. You're right. You're right, Prez. They're fake news. No one can honestly say the fake gods who created organized Abrahamic religions and governments did not do a great job in trauma bonding, Stockholm syndroming, and terrifying most humans into remaining their prisoners psychologically and physically and or mentally, and farm animals for thousands of years. Thousands. Probably millions. Probably over 1 million. But it is ending with a bang, a fire, a confrontation, direct energy weapons. Evil must kill itself in the Ouroboros, in a phoenix of death, eating a snake phoenix eating its own tail, a dragon of death killing itself, a confrontation, a reckoning, a realization that after ascension you'll see loser 4, the Hellites, the 1% criminal robber barons, and all of the obedient who never change. They are the real chaff that gets cut off. Okay? Not those people who are truly good, and especially not those people who truly discern, because, you know, they had to make the wisdom out to be evil in that story in Genesis. So, ironically, the people who think they run everything, if they only harm others, they will be cut off. The sicko, inverted, fascist, evil alien god, second coming, or what is called the bifurcation, is separating the really good, sovereign, respectful, and divine freed humans from the beast, false controllers. And people like me, it's hard to say, you know, for those who are somewhere in between these extremes. Well, Tupac said only God can judge me. Well, I say judgment is of the fallen. I mean, some claim it's part of discernment, but that's another debate. So what is called the bifurcation is separating the really good, divine freed humans from the beast, false controllers, you know, like the totally obedient. But those who do massive harm to others are not going to lead anyone in the future. Why did the CFR and the rest of the fake ruler cults have to push for the Humans 2.0 transhuman plan so hard 5 years ago? Why did they have to orchestrate so brilliantly in this plan? Because UTAD is real. Well, it's definitely a part of it. Why would I make 500 videos about the explicit truth and healing that only a few saw? I was naively trying to bring awakening into a digital world controlled or created by DARPA and controlled by 150 CIA, NSA agents, Mr. T and Peter Thiel, who's another person who works with CIA. The invisible, self-imposed planetary wardens with... I was trying to play on the platforms that are controlled by the people who think they have the right to rule everything with no computing skills. Likewise, all who obey the fake religions or who never question these imposters' masterful scams. In other words, the fallen angels' masterful scams have no choice. And also those who have done pacts with them and their abilities to run masterful scams by going deep into the inverted black hole, mind, heartless consciousness of Luciferic way. They have no choice after death but to be forced to go through a memory wipe and reincarnated like everyone else who's not aware. No one can escape the prison and human farm without the strong discernment, discipline, and shadow work necessary to get clear of deception. Okay? If you think you have the right to rule over someone else, if they're harmless or respectful or doing their thing, then you are in the wrong. Okay? It's the human birthright to free will and sovereignty if they're harmless and respectful, except for, you know, whatever they have to figure out to get cholesterol, because we're in this hybridized, what the Aboriginals called the mutants form. And so we need our cholesterol, but beyond that, hey, we have to accept a lot of things that are unacceptable these days, folks. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but otherwise, what are you going to do? Fight over it? Fight over all this shit? Fight over these monsters and their amazingly, ornately detailed take over the planet schemes that have been orchestrated in other dimensions and on this planet up for 1 million years, you know, and you're going to just, you know, get angry over it. It's probably not going to help you to get angry, you know. So, whereas if you figure out something you can do to serve or help in the awakening, I wanted to play it, you scum boy. You see, they designed the cell phone to be very obnoxious and not do what you want. If you're feeling at all anxious, or it's not going to be able to serve you. If you get irritated and you try to play with the cell phone when you're irritated, what happens is they're going to give you more ads or more interference because they see you. They notice that they're sucking loose. They can suck loose through these things. They love that. Okay, you gotta understand that. They use these cell phones and computers to suck your loose all the time if they can. To turn humans into these passive worms with a pretty face, sitting before the blue screens, developing cancer and MRSA and all the other infectious illness or, you know, mutated illnesses of all sorts that they designed for us, keeping us at a low vibration. That's what they want. Okay, so no one can escape the prison farm, the prison and human memory wipe farm without the strong discernment, discipline, and shadow work necessary to get clear of deception. No one can save you but your Christ within, the Christ within you. All deeds you do to harm others are going to flunk you out of ascension, quite possibly. Could make it so that you flunk out of the whole thing if you don't repent or do something to make it better to that person if you can. How will she, the real divine Christ Sophia, get freed again after 1 million years of this violation of natural law? On all accounts, on all these different ways that the fallen angels have attacked us, breaking the real law of this planet, the real law of the land and the sea, which is not maritime admiralty law, which is not the matrix, which is not the British admiralty regalty system, where they put on a black robe and make you pay them money. Okay, I'm talking about the original law, the real law, which is natural law, which is you don't have the right to harm anyone else. You know, and so the fallen angels have done everything they've done by harming others. Everything they've done has come by harming others. All these structures, all this has been built by slavery. It's all been built by slavery, you know, and ritual abuse and other types of harm. And so we have a whole world built on harm, and then we have the Martin Luther Church, the Bible Covenant Church, and the Presbyterian Church of the USA, like 8 years ago, and then last year the Pope coming out to say the doctrine of discovery is illegitimate, that they were breaking the law by cutting off people's heads who wouldn't convert to Catholicism when they did that, and that it was wrong. The Pope has admitted it was wrong, that they broke cosmic law, that those conquistadores that created these mission systems were criminals. We're not going to tear down the missions, but we do have to tear down the fake parts. And eventually, like I say, it might take a decade before these people realize that when they charge people $3,000 or $4,000 a month for an apartment or room or whatever, that's a decision, a collective decision that was based upon the blood of these Native Americans. And how many landlords' great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was a conquistador? I don't know, but there might be a considerable amount. The divine Christ Sophia gets free will again when you, at least physically speaking on this planet, when you have the courage to take the red pill, learn and do the work to free yourselves. Okay? No one's ever going to be able to do that for you, because it's just something you got to do on your own. And And I mean, I have to I know I've said that hundreds of times. I'm saying it to myself too, because some part of me, my Uranus and Scorpio, a painful fucking ass to have. And that part doesn't want to. There's parts of me that don't want to change. My Mars and Leo retrograde. Mars is retrograde right now, and there's that part of me that doesn't want to change. And the Archon latches onto that. If you have any retrogrades in your birth chart or fixed zodiac signs, beware. Beware. Be very fucking aware. I've told friends or so-called or former friends. This one with NPD was really bad. I told him it is really bad. I told him that's why we're not around each other at all now. I can't. He didn't like it when I started making videos exposing it, probably for the most part. And then I became public enemy number one. But it's just people don't want to live in delusion and fantasy. You know, people want to stay stuck. And did you have children? I did not. So I wish I had more empathy and compassion and for them, but I must learn to be more compassionate. It's I can't imagine what people are going through that have kids. Have you ever made a drawing, a painting, or written a song? I've written songs, and so I guess having a child might be the highest or the lowest form of channeling. I mean, you bring them into this farm, but if it's a hierogamic couple and you're actually bringing in a divine soul who wants to be like some bodhisattva, I don't know, if you can somehow channel some soul in who wants to be a bodhisattva, then, you know. Well, the reason why I ask these questions is because this is how you can remember that you are a part of the divine Holy Ghost, the real original creator. Because as I said in my video, Divinity is creativity is proof of divinity. It helps you to remember. So, why are the best musical artists tortured and often die young? Are you here as a Sisyphusian, loose, LOOSH? That's for the AI that refuses to print out loosh. Are you here for the loosh feeding human farm animal caught in perpetuity as a divine creator stuck in amnesia, suffering as a financial slave forever, lifetime after lifetime? Or will you take the leap off the cliff psychologically to learn how to remote view, or learn how to see out of the box, learn how to see out of the small-mindedness that these fallen angels try to force us all into? Will you have the courage to psychologically realize and remember you are truly a ray, a spark of the light of Christ in a temporary flesh suit, gaining material and sensational experience, not the flesh suit or even the soul or even your goals or what you think you're supposed to do, that is constantly drained by the archons, if you allow that? No! You are the ray of Christ that is ultimately infinite intelligence, an immortal spark of the essence of Christ that decided to individuate, that decided to go become a specialist, specialize in something, to become a part of this vast ocean of awareness, that decided to have a singular experience. Okay. Lucifer thinks we are all just here to suck dry his batteries. We're just here to be his batteries. Him and the archons and the demiurge. And I mean, the demiurge can build all this stuff. Look at how great he is at building stuff. Look at all the stuff he's built and how heartless it was, and how much planned obsolescence was built into it. I mean, but we're just here as his batteries. But divine ensouled humans have already surpassed his filthy ways innumerably and innumerable ways recently on planet Earth in human flesh suits. Research G. Edward Griffin's documentary, The Cancer Conspiracy. I don't know if YouTube took it down or not. If it's still there, I'm not sure. Look at the inverted anti-life movements since the Zetas moved under us, literally even. Hydrogenated oils, chemicals in the food, GMOs. All of these anti-human ways were established, especially in the establishment. But it's gradually over for these tyrants, because we're entering the age of ascension, the era of great awareness. Because these tyrants and these fallen angels, they have no heart. They stole all their power, and they don't know how to feel. And yes, they're brilliant technicians. The divine human heart, the divine human is all heart. The human heart puts out thousands of times the electromagnetic powers of our brain. Okay? They can mind control all three of our gut, our brain, and our heart if you allow it. So it takes a lot of serious shadow work. And it might take working with others to remove all the psychic gadgetry involved. She doesn't. The divine human is all heart. She can become free. She doesn't need your fake ass multiple choice reality. She can make options. Okay. I often think my actual life or my existence has been often like the movie The Matrix. When the movie The Labyrinth, when she comes to this, falls down in anguish because she doesn't know which way to go. And this little snail said, "Those aren't the only ways you can go." So I have used my creativity to not die at least half a dozen times, okay, in my 40 some odd years. Okay. The divine human is all heart. She can become free once again. She doesn't need your fake ass multiple choice reality. She can make options. She doesn't need your fake ass selections. She is a sovereign precedent. Though the ancient Rig Veda text describe Vimanas, that's right, the most ancient spiritual text we still have, that we have found in India, mentions spaceships. They called them gods. They said they were gods, which again fits the story, fits the narrative, right? This is the first time in a million years the majority of humans have even had access to these truths. The inverted fallen angels stole all of their powers from humans, and just like the Library of Alexandria, they burned down the history books or put them in their vaults. The inverted fallen angels stole all of their power from humans. Will you return yours to its rightful owner? You? The Bible thumper on a soapbox. There are these guys that have some kind of mainstream Bible thumper church in the San Francisco Peninsula, who at least a half a dozen times a year they come to Santa Cruz and literally preach with the microphone, with the megaphone on a soapbox. And one day they had this sign with professional letters that said, "Evolution is a lie." And I love this, and I've even heard one of these guys quote a Gnostic text, and But I don't like that they spread around loose and anger and venom and animosity around amongst the people. And so it's but when they say true things to people who worship the devil or think Lucifer's cool, and they tell people the truth, it's good. But the way they do it is, of course, the loose sucking, old-fashioned preacher's way of literally on a soapbox and telling the heathens what's up, and that's just, that's not the way. I mean, of course, I don't believe in the Bible, the Bible thumpers' version of reality, or Churchian, as Mark Passio calls them, Churchian's version. However, I thought there was a provocative sign because of the way they've dumbed us down and the truth about it. Divine hierogamy is the obvious route we can grow and evolve in. Sacred coupling. These videos are a gift to humanity. I love humanity, at least those who are still human, who want to wake up, who love life enough or respect creation, original creation enough to participate with me. I mean, I love everyone, but I really, even the Draco reptilians and all these Zetas, but I love particularly those who have respect. And I know the spirit of the original human Christ race a little bit intuitively and from experience too, experientially. So, divine hierogamy is the obvious route we can grow and evolve in. How about in a loose factory? How are we going to grow and evolve and have children and have sacred divine hierogamy when this planet has been turned into a loose factory, running massive sexual misery programming, specifically here on the West Coast? You cannot remember your divinity, but that does not mean it's not there. This is to all the people who, I don't think they would go this far into the video, but if it's one or two ever that does, and if you cannot remember your divinity, that does not mean it's not there. You must decide to rule over yourself in peace, and then the memories will come. If you don't know yet, your blueprint will come. What you really want to do with your life, and harmlessness and respect towards peace will come. Okay? The memories will return eventually. She is a sovereign precedent. Christ Sophia. A sovereign precedent within that chooses peace, that chooses respect, that chooses not to harm others. Fully awakened, ensouled humans. They can remote view, intuitively heal, create worlds even, especially if they reproduce, but even if they don't. Create imaginary worlds, create worlds in other dimensions, create healing realms. They have all these God powers, but they have to be plugged back in, diligently applied, learn the discipline, cleanse the body, cleanse the soul, cleanse the psyche, cleanse your heart. And of course, I myself personally must move back into community or form one. Isolation is how the deceiver and cults have almost always one of the key points of how they've successfully, how they are successful vampirically, exactly the opposite of the false gods. If you do not harm anyone else, their objects or souls, or especially yourself, you can do anything, harmless and respectful. The real secret is the devil has no authority over the really freed souls. Sure, whether they got a flesh suit or not. Sure, he'll target and try to, I mean, they've got to put up with all the horrors around them in this planet. Sure, he'll target and try to torture, but because this experiment in free will and giving the Namulu's free will is older than the fallen angels, even though they could engineer a wave, you know, sure he's going to try to target and torture all those that go against his sick-ass ways and remain free or live free or teach freedom, teach respect and discernment. Especially those who know and share the fact that there is really no official reality. Even YouTube and Rumble are still being used to help us to free ourselves via gnosis. But they get to make it as powerful or as much of a trickle as they want. It is the most amazing era ever to be alive. Right here, right now. Helping these dumbed down creators wake up from from his fake stories. Thing I always said about the rent, the things that the cost of goods, food, services, rent, whatever you need, like in the coast of California, since through the doctrine of discovery, they created the mission system, and then what they do after that is they moved in and they said, now you're gonna have to pay us twice whatever you have, or twice what it's worth for the land, the food, for everything. That these Spanish mafia conquistadores would charge you twice what the land or the food was worth before that. You are a small part of the Creator, but you've been rendered into whatever cut off or small limp Peter version of your real divine masculine and divine feminine powers truly are, unless you awaken your soul and body and mind spirit. Who is the real Creator? She is really within us. And that's the being I'm really in love with. My divine original Creator. The mother of creation. I have a love affair with her. So that's why I serve humans. It's not a incestuous thing. It's just like it's a matter of respect. That would be such a fun wave to surf. Oh my God, dude. It's like 10 foot tall. I'd have to be a master to serve that. And only you can jump up out of the dumpster fire version of reality the fallen have forced on humans. If you enjoyed this content and you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe, like this video, and forget about every single Babylonian holy day if you have to, as much as possible. Don't take it personally unless you want to, unless you enjoy it and it's harmless. And then by doing so, you can remember that you truly are a spark of the divine Christ Sophia, having an experience as you. And you can do that in a way to ascend and truly be one with the Almighty. Peace to you all.